Hi, my name is John Olsheimer, and I'm a credit expert who contributes to creditcardinsider.com. If you have any questions for us, then please submit them in the comments section below, and we'll get to them as quickly as we can. Today's question is, what is the CARD Act? Excellent question. The CARD Act actually stands for the Credit Card Accountability, Responsibility, and Disclosure Act of 2009, so it's a fairly recent statute. The CARD Act was in response to allegedly abusive practices by credit card issuers. May or may not actually be true, but whatever. We have this act now that we have to deal with. And while it would take hours to go through the act in depth, we're going to hit just some of the highlights in this particular video. Number one, the CARD Act guarantees you a 21-day grace period before your payment is due. And the grace period starts on the statement closing date. So if your statement is generated based on charges made between the first of the month and the first of the following month, then add 21 days to that second first of the month, and that's when your statement or your minimum payment is due. Prior to the CARD Act, grace periods were starting to erode, and we're actually getting closer to 14 days than they were to 21 days. So 21 days is the new standard thanks to the act. Number two, retroactive interest rate increases. There was a time where credit card issuers could actually increase the interest rate on charges that you had already made. So if you had made a charge and at the time your interest rate was 12.9%, they could actually go in and increase it to 17.9%, thus making financing that particular balance much more expensive. Can't do that any longer, except for under the condition is if you start missing payments, then they can increase your interest rate and apply it retroactively. But if you're making your payments on time every month, then they cannot go back and say, okay, now the interest rate on these old charges is much higher. Can't do that. The right to opt out of adverse changes to the terms of your account is also now something that we all enjoy as part of the CARD Act. Let me give you a great example of where this applies. If a credit card issuer all of a sudden wants to implement a new annual fee to your card, say it was $0 and now they want to make it $129 a year, they have to send you a notice notifying you 45 days in advance of applying any new fee to the card. And they also have to give you the right to opt out of that fee. Now, the knee-jerk reaction, and probably all of you are thinking, well, why wouldn't everybody opt out? If you opt out of the change, they can close your account and accelerate the payback of the debt. So it may not necessarily be the best idea just to automatically opt out simply because they're implementing an annual fee. Consumers who are under 21 years old can now not get a credit card unless they have a job or a cosigner. And this makes a lot of sense if you think of it from a hypothesis perspective, but actually it doesn't, because really it suggests that you have some sort of credit epiphany on the day that you turn 21, and I think we all know that that's just simply not true. Really all it does is it delays it delays the time to start establishing a credit report, and really puts young people behind the curve relative to their peers who are a little bit older and were able to establish credit as young as even 18 years old. So those are some pretty high points regarding the CARD Act. Again, it's a very long act, and it would take us hours to go through it, but those are really the high point provisions. That's what you would generally read in articles that talk about the act, would be the 21-day grace period, not being able to get credit if you're under 21 unless you have a cosigner or a job, and then of course no more retroactive interest rate increases. If you have any questions pertaining to credit or other financial topics, then please submit them to creditcardinsider.com or in the comments section below. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.